What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Insurance Isn't Boring. This is episode 3 in what we're calling season 2. I'm your host, Elijah, joined as always by Xander. Today, we get the privilege of interviewing one of our good friends, somebody I've known for years. We got into the business in the same year, 2018. No prior insurance experience. And over the last 7 years, he's accomplished quite a bit of a resume. Just to establish a little bit of street cred, give you guys a reason to listen to Joe. He's a top producer with the company. He's a huge agency owner, to the point where he's popped out several agency owners on his team, and he's hit the managing vice president role within our company. He's an equity partner within the company too, which is not a big club of people, I will say. His best month of personal production, because he's done both sides and he's really focused on building a massive business right now. But when he was in the field full time, his best month was $67,000 in premium, guys, in a month. That passed my best month for sure. Best month as a team is $546,000 in premium. So he's not just recruiting, but his people are winning. And his team's on pace to sell just a little over $6 million in premium this year. So, Joe, I'd ask you how you're doing, but I assume you're doing pretty freaking well, if I'm not mistaken, man.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun when everyone's winning.
It is. It is. It wasn't always that way, for sure, but it's been cool to see just the different seasons that our company's gone through, and to see you consistently winning no matter what's happening has been pretty cool. Been pretty cool. We're on the same team. Xander's actually he's a cross line to you, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But Joe, we want to dig into a couple things, and we're going to focus on both sides of what we do. You've been really good at both for as long as I've known you. But dude, for the people who are just now hearing you for the first time, like what were you up to before you got your insurance license? And I'm curious about the lead up to things got to a point where you're like, I'm going to get my insurance license. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a hell of a journey. That's what it was.
Yeah, I bet.
Did I'd have to start back from being right in my teens. I always wanted to own my own business. Uh, Call me crazy, right? I just always thought I'd be a millionaire at one point somewhere. I remember 16 years old having that conversation with my brother and sister. They just looked at me like I was crazy, but
Yep.
we're headed there now.
Yeah.
But just always been an entrepreneur, love to run a business. This is my ninth actual business. I've from lawn service to a donut shop to, I mean, just anything. We've had restaurants, we've had car lots. We had a record label, Polluted Minds Entertainment.
I didn't know. What was the record label called?
Polluted Minds Entertainment. We were rappers at one point in our teens. We're not going to talk
Dude,
about
that's
that right now.
awesome.
That's a late night pool conversation, Elijah. Not
Fair
kidding.
enough.
But I mean, just done several businesses in America, right? My vision and dream was always owning my own business, right? The American dream is what we always called it. Um, right. I'm really big on family, right? My parents came from Mexico, right? And really every generation, right? My dad did a great job of bringing us up, of every generation being a little bit better than the next, right? That's the whole
Yeah,
goal of why we're doing everything. My grandpa
absolutely.
did what he did. My dad did better than him, and right, my job was to do better than him, and my kid's job is to do better than me. And so just every
Yeah.
generation just getting a little bit better, right? Obviously, owning a business is the way to do it, right? Not being someone's employee.
Mm.
And I mean, this is just from owning all my own businesses. What I did learn was owning a small business here is not the American dream, right? You're tied to that
Mm.
building. Most businesses will go under after a year or two, or you're lucky if you're making 100, 200K out of that business. You are tied to that thing like like no tomorrow, right? It's actually a small business can become a small prison.
Mm.
So it was looking for that. I never thought I'd do insurance, but after selling off my businesses and knowing I learned a couple things. I learned I didn't want Joe money. I wanted a big, right, a company that does millions and billions, Xander, so that we can get that kind of give me a percentage of that, right? And so I knew I wanted to be partnered with really big corporations because that's the only way you're gonna do it, right? You're gonna do it by yourself. And so I don't know how ZipRecruiter found me, right? But it started sending me all these ads for insurance. Looked into the PNC world. I didn't like that business model. Too small commissions. Most of them you're actually captive, and then they putting up a building and all this stuff. But it's really just right. You pass away, they absorb your business, and that's not what I was looking for. In the franchise restaurant world, same thing. A lot of businesses that right? You can go open all these franchise restaurants, but at the end of the day, when something happens and you're gone, right, it comes back to corporate office. Your family actually
Yeah.
does keep it. So I saw the flaws in that, and then just business expenses and health department and licensing in the city, right? All kinds of stuff. And so when I started looking at life insurance and business models, I was like, okay, I just saw a lot of things that I was looking for that were going to work. And then the biggest thing is I read, what is it? The Next Perfect Storm, right, by
Mm.
Patrick David, and, it really opened my eyes of what the insurance industry, right, and finance industry can really do, where it's at, right? So very rarely we can get into an industry where it's the right time in the world, right? And if you've ever read that book, highly recommend it. Make sure you do the Next Perfect Storm, not just Perfect Storm, where you end up with George Clooney. Um, in the book, right, it just talks about right baby boomers, how Barbie was created, right, how Johnson and Johnson with products, right, just because of how the world has transitioned, and now with baby boomers and people retiring, and so in that book, it talks about it being the perfect time right now, and then you pour rocket fuel or gasoline on it with COVID, virtual world, work from home positions, right? Folks trying to be their own business owners now, right? Like the country's transitioning to people want to work from home, people want to be their own boss, right? Like that is a real thing being looked for at this point. Dude, we are in the perfect place at the perfect time. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it has just gotten really cool, and that's how I ended up finding insurance, right? So then I did my research and Symmetry checked all the boxes, right? I can build a business with them, right? I have access to all their products. Um, they've set it up, right? It's like a franchise without franchise fees, right? And then they've set it all up technology wise, and they've had the vision of the future of where we were headed. And dude, they're just it's insane. The business model now here at Symmetry, right? And we'll kind of dig into that in a little bit we talked about, but the business model right now is just I've never seen anything like this, right? So from owning my own businesses and being able to transition to this, like I'm in heaven, dude.
Mm.
It just from workers' comp, employees, health department coming and slapping a $5,000 fine on you, a license from the city because the building inspect. I mean, like we don't have any of that kind of stuff, right? My biggest joke is right in the restaurant, the water heater always broke on a Saturday night, right? Never did it on a Monday and slow night, and we don't have things like that here. And it's just really cool. Nobody can steal our product, right? Who's going to steal my leads from my system, right? Like no one can my leads are not going to spoil, right? My employees, my servers or buzzers ain't going to eat all the food or take the steaks right from the back door. Like there's so many things that can't happen here because of the business model. Like it is a true blessing for folks that actually
Mm.
start to see that as a business, right? And dude, it just couldn't be a better place.
Mm. You're let me ask you this, with all the other businesses that you did, would you say you're making more money now than any of the other businesses?
So way more money now. The coolest thing is in one place. That's where
Yeah,
so at one point, so in my 20s, I think at the highest peak I had two car lots, the car wash, and I was still working at the restaurant. So I
that's
had
insane.
three personal businesses and I was still working a job. That year I probably made about 380, right? We're going to almost double that this year. and I don't work nowhere, right? That the work schedule there, Elijah, was I'd wake up at 4:30, go to the car wash at 5, do the books. My parents ran the business for me. I would go to work, 10-hour shift at the restaurant, go to the car lot, do the books there. I'd get home, and my wife would have a bag ready for me, and I'd have the truck loaded with 3-car hauler, and I'd either have to drive to California or Vegas to go pick up cars and bring them back. And I did that every day, 7 days a week.
That's
And
insane.
so from the outside, I always love to say this, from the outside, it looked like I was super successful. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, you have all these businesses, you're doing great financially." But dude, I was dying on the inside, right? Like there is such thing as bad money. Cost me a divorce. Dude, I gained like 120 pounds through that process. I mean, it was literally killing me from the inside. So there is such thing as bad money. And
Hmm.
when I sold all that, my number one purpose was I know there's a way to make that kind of money in one place. And what I really came to the conclusion was I was tired of making blue collar money and I wanted to make white. That's what we have here.
Fair enough.
That is what we have here, man. Go ahead,
Well,
Xander.
I'm curious, what did, because we talked to a lot of big time billers, of which I think you would, fit very well in that category. What was that transition of, because you know how to write a lot of business, right? We've heard it multiple times. You went out and issued commission wise like 240,000 your first year doing this. What was that turning point for you of, hey, this is great. I can go be a solo producer. What was it that shifted that made you be like, well, I really want to start building a team
Well, so you're just stabbing me in the heart here because I love it because everyone asks me that question, and the problem is I actually started from the beginning building. I just sucked at it, right? Like everyone gets so upset when I tell them I suck at producing and I suck at building, right? And the beauty about symmetry is if you just follow their system, anybody can win here, right?
So
And
true.
what symmetry really allows you to do is do whatever it takes to win here. And whatever it takes is different for everyone. My journey was, I mean, I came in here and I produced really well. I made really good money from the beginning. But I was just a crappy leader. I mean, it is what it is, right? I came from 20 years of management, so I was trying to be everyone's boss. To do this is very entrepreneurial, right? Like, I mean, if somebody wants to succeed here, they gotta want it. I can't want it for them. And so I can't imagine being in my downline the first 2 years of me here because I probably told you suck if you didn't want to go buy blank amount of leads or go write 30, 40,000 a month, right? If you weren't doing what I was doing, in my eyes, you weren't finding success. And
Mm,
that's a horrible way to be a leader, right? But
so
that's a
true.
great way to be a manager, right? Because you have standards and everyone has to do this to keep your job, right? So it's just two different mentalities. And so, I mean, I had 2 years worth of lessons to learn, Xander.
Mm, yeah.
Basically, it got to the point where it was 2020 and I had 0 agents behind me, right? And this is that
Dang.
months. I mean, from the get go, two, three, $4,000 a month in recruiting, right? Being a horrible leader, right? There's a whole bunch of dead bodies of
Mm.
agents, right? That I left in that path of trying to figure it out. But that was my journey here, right? Like
Mm.
in entrepreneurship and owning your own business, I think we just got to embrace the suck, right? Like it taught me a lot. It taught me to be able to say for 2 years I was too focused on looking for that elite producer and I'm only going to hire people that can do this or I'm only going to look for this. Well, then where's where's the opportunity for everyone?
Mm.
What symmetry is great at is you can come in here and get whatever you want out of this industry. Like if you want to come in, I mean, we've had retired school teachers just want to make $1,000 a month so that they want that $1,000 to go play with their grandkids. And he was able to do that and he enjoyed it. And then we even found him like a fat annuity, put 20 in his bank account. He was like, I'm almost done for a while. And he left. But that was like that's what he wanted. Imagine symmetry was his dream, and in 6 months he accomplished it and left.
How cool is that? How cool
Like
is
he's
that?
probably set for another 2 years, and he's like, "That's all I needed. I can play with the grandbabies." Right? And he did it in 6 months. And
Yeah.
and I've just learned that's what we really provide, right? Again, the American dream is different for absolutely everybody. What do you want to get out of Symmetry? And we can provide it at any level. You can come in here and
Mhm.
produce, right? Or you can come in here and build. And that's what took me 2 years to figure out, Xander, right? Was I was tired of trying to do it my way, right? And I had to self-develop, read enough books to say, hey, I was the problem of why I didn't have a team. So I laugh when everyone
Mhm.
tells me, you came in here and produced. When did you make the switch? I'm like, the problem is I came in here from the very beginning. It took me 2 years to learn the lesson of how to build a real good organization
Yeah.
here, where
Yeah.
we just help people find what they want.
So true. A lot of entrepreneurship is like building a plane while you're learning how to fly, and you're doing both simultaneously. And the thing about Symmetry that I think attracts a lot of people with business experience is the blueprint's already drawn up. The system's already established. You got to learn the process of following it, but you're not creating an entire process and building out a marketing and a lead generation program. You're not establishing the relationship with carriers that pay us. Like, it's all done. It's like a sandbox. You just come in and you get your shovel and you start building.
Literally a business in the box, dude. I love that
It
saying.
is. It
Yeah,
is. The thing about it that I'm really in love with is we can attract all different types of people. We can attract people who just want to produce and this is their job. We can attract people who this is a temporary seasonal job for, like the guy you mentioned. And then you're also attracting people who have this enterprise mindset, used to running a business, and they're coming here and they're building something new from the ground up. And the thing I love about it is you can get extraordinary results in a relatively short amount of time. Like, you just said that you're on pace to double your previous income at its peak, and you've been here 7 years. And it probably took you 2 or 3 years to replace the income that you were earning before,
yeah,
maybe a little longer, but
yeah. One of the biggest things, right? If I go back to 17, 16-year-old me was, again, I want to make $1 million. Right? That was at least my point of entry to success. So when
yeah,
people tell me, have I arrived? I'm like, I'm not even close yet, right?
yeah, yeah,
And but in my head was every time I looked at a career opening a business was, could I get to that point? And let me tell you, I never saw it clear.
yeah.
This is the first place I've ever been. This is the first business I've ever owned that I knew I was going to cross that mark.
Mhm.
For me, that was just special, right? Because
Yeah.
again, owning my own business, 2 or 3 years into it, I'm like, I don't know if we're ever going to get there, right? Like something's going to have to pop off, or just working for someone. And man, I worked for one of the largest companies out there. And, I never saw me even getting close, right? It was like, if I spend another 15 years here and right, two guys above me just quit, maybe I'll make 250. Right.
That's
And
great.
so it was
Yeah.
just, I just never saw that path. And this is the first time I knew, right, that it was going
Mhm.
to be crossed.
Yeah. Yeah. Xander, did you have a question, man?
Yeah, I think that, we so that's where you are now, and obviously some of the internal stuff that you had to work on to become a better leader. We've talked about like the 4 hurdles as far as production goes. And you've talked to me about kind of like 3 separate walls you have to break through. If we put the production to the side, outside of internal development, what were some things that you found? Because I always thought building would be easier than producing. Little
Welcome.
silly little me.
Thank
Um, but I'm just curious, what were some like maybe more tactical things outside of, hey, I've got to work on being a leader as opposed to a manager. What were some things that you found, and maybe you see commonalities that other people have as they're trying to scale a team to get to that next level?
I mean, a big one is trying to take a shortcut. Everybody wants a shortcut, and there ain't one, right? Dude, I've heard it all. I'm only gonna hire, right, elite people. I'm only gonna do this or that, right? I'm gonna go only hire agencies and bring them over. And here's the thing, it all works, right? And so it's really of just embracing the fact that there is not a shortcut. There's a fast path, but there's not a shortcut, right? And if you want to take the fast path, It's simply, again, right, being able or being willing to do the work long enough in a short amount of time if you want to go quick, right? And I mean, so if you're asking for like what are some key things, I mean, I would definitely say is one, be willing to commit, right? Everybody says they want this, right? I think Joe Rogan has a great quote of, if you've probably seen it, right? Everybody wants to own their own business until they figure out it's holidays, weekends, nights. It's missing out on kids thing. It's not paying yourself this week, right? Because you got to pay. The business has to be fed. And everybody wants to be successful. Very few people are willing to do it.
Hmm.
Right. And you want the best advice I can give you is make the choice, right? Because everyone can win. I mean, I got a high school education and that's it. Right. I was looking for the look when I worked in the restaurant industry, I was willing to do absolutely whatever it takes. The system inside of of corporate restaurant world does not allow you to work as hard as you want and move up the chain and get to the income. It's not built for that. It's built to keep you in those places for reasons, right? And everything is built that way, right? And I needed a model that allowed me to work my butt off and do whatever it takes to get wherever I wanted. And
Hmm.
that's what this is. There's no thumb on you here. Everyone can figure it out if you're willing to go figure out whatever it takes for you, because it's different for everyone, right? I had my learning curve for 2 years in recruiting, right, and building. Other folks didn't, right? That's what's really cool. That's why you have people that have come into our company and have gone to the top or have gone to $10 million organizations in 3 years, because there is no thumb on you. Whatever you're willing to do. And a buddy of mine, I'll shout out Valzon here, said, he said it so well, and I hope I don't chop it up, but he goes, I'm looking for a company that pays me in correlation to the value that I bring to,
Mm.
right? And that's
Yeah.
what this is here. You come in and you bring impact and you bring value and you do whatever it takes. You you said it just now, Elijah, right? Like the results are insane, right?
They are.
Of whatever, right? So I can't, even in my journey, Xander, of 7.5 years here, I see people that have done what I've done and more in 3 years. Like, I got to look in the mirror. They were willing to work harder than me in those first 3 years. That's the
Yeah.
reality of it. And
Yeah.
but that's the mirror that we get to look at here, that at any moment we can say, hey, I can just go work that much harder and get way more results and get what I really want out of this. And so, I mean, if you want to, the tip, Xander, is they got to be willing to do whatever it takes for them, right? And
Right.
it's either invest. The cool part is three things. That's it, dude. It's either invest more activity, that's more time, right? Or effort, whatever you want to call it, or grow yourself. But it's inside of those three things, I promise. Right?
Hmm.
There's nothing outside of it. And so if you're willing to go knock those out, dude, sky's the limit here.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Well, I
buddy.
think people romanticize entrepreneurship sometimes in other industries. And to your point, like, I remember when was first doing this, I was still working my full-time job at the same time. And it was a juggling act to get to a point where I was like, hey, I can do this full time. I will say though, of all of, and both of you know this better than I do, but of all the industries I've seen, and you hit on this, Joe, it's hard to think of one where you can't where you can make the leap as fast as you can here. Like when you guys started, you were still going door to door. Obviously, all of that changed with COVID, although that's kind of a different story. I can't believe it took the carriers that long to come out with e-apps. Um, but I have yet to see anywhere else where you don't really need any sort of a background in the industry. You with relatively little investment, right? Like a McDonald's franchise, like $500,000 to get the building, right? And that's before you start hiring people and buying food and everything. You can go get yourself a batch of leads and turn around and make, 5-10 grand a week. I don't know where else you can do that. And so I think it's like a healthy balance of romanticizing it alongside knowing that, hey, where else can you do that?
Yeah. The excitement is what got me hooked, man. Like seeing the potential, the excitement is what led to me getting committed. and a lot of people, until they are fully committed, they're not going to do what it takes to achieve the full-time results. And so one thing about you, Joe, that I noticed, and you probably remember early on, man, you were the guy I was calling. What are you doing? How are you selling 40, 50 grand a month, 60 grand a month? And it always came back to investment. And I was a little bit of a cheapskate when I was brand new. I was like, dude, $600 in leads? That's crazy. You've always invested. I'm curious, what did investing in your business look like in your first couple years versus what is your financial investment look like now? Because as a business owner, it's a different mindset from the W-2 life. Like at a W-2 life, you show up, you get paid for the amount of time you're there, and you can turn it off and you're not thinking about it. With the business, we get paid in proportion to the value we provide. And so the more we invest, the more results we get, the more money we make. And I have a feeling your investment has elevated as your income has elevated. So like what did it look like? What does it look like?
I that's one of the best questions out there, right? Because one, I came in here with a business mindset, right? So I've owned businesses. That's probably the biggest hurdle. Someone that's coming into this industry from a W-2 could come this, right? They're like, oh my God, I got to buy leads, right? Or I gotta pay to go to a conference, right? Like it's just a mindset shift is really what folks need to do, right? Because every I always say the hamburger joint, right? You got to bring in hamburger meat to go sell hamburgers, right? And so I think that simplifies it for a lot of folks because it's the same thing, right? If I want to grow my business, when I came to the insurance industry and symmetry was how fast can I start dumping more money into this, right? And because there's always going to be ROI. It's a business. Look, there's hundreds of thousands of insurance agents out there. It's legit. You can make tons of money, right? But it's who's willing to invest the most, right? Like these billion-dollar companies, they don't just make the $1 billion, they invest billions of dollars, right?
Right.
So if we look at our scale coming in, for me it was how fast can I, as a new agent, was how fast can I invest more in leads? Because literally just means if I slip in a 20, I make $100, right? And so how fast can I start slipping hundreds in there? How fast can I start putting thousands in there? Right. And that was my mindset. Right. So my first lead investment was $187. My second one was probably like 220, whatever it was. And the biggest thing I love to tell about that is those are the only two times I put money into symmetry because I treated it like a business. Right. I always hear Xander folks say, right, well, I got to buy leads again, or I have to reinvest. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've, the only thing, look, we've gone on trips. We've taken agents on trips. We love to do mansions for our agents that qualify. We give leads away. Like we do all kinds of things and we travel so much, right, to go to get trained or whatever it may be, host corporate overviews. But I've never paid any of that. Right? Like it's such a misconception of you paid. No, my business paid for all this, right? I personally invested twice in leads into Symmetry. After that, my business has paid for absolutely everything. Right. And when you truly start understanding that concept, you get excited of how much more money you can put into this. Right. As long as you treat it like a business and get a good mentor and do your finances right. But for me, it was like, how fast can we invest so much in leads so I can make now money? Then it was how fast can I start, investing in recruiting? Then it was how fast can I train somebody or teach somebody to do the same thing with me? I mean, because if you talk about me at my first in leads, it was probably a couple $1,000s, right? Because I was working bonus leads, but I was always putting $1,000 to $2,000 into recruiting. So my business in the first couple of months was probably putting $4,000 into it, right? Between leads and recruiting. At this point, if you look at like the whole organization, I mean, we probably got like a good solid $35,000 to $40,000 a month going into recruiting and leads, probably $60,000. I don't know, as an organization, but that's how we're doing 500,000 a month.
Right.
Hmm.
And so it's just a mindset shift for someone that doesn't understand that concept. Right?
Mm.
When you're here, you should want to put more money into this. It's not, if not, it's literally impossible to grow your revenue and your income, right? Like no business in America says, can we stay exactly where we're at this year? Right, because everything goes up, right? Inventory goes up. If you do exactly what you did last year, you're going backwards, right?
Yep.
So it should always be, how do I open another franchise? How do I, right? In our case, how do I hire another person? How do I get more leads, right? How do I invest in another funnel for recruiting? And so, dude, we're always hunting, right? Like we're always
Mm.
hunting to go invest more money, right? Like our job is to follow the money, follow the problem.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love that. If you're not growing, you're going backwards. I think one of the things that we've asked this to a couple of big time builders, so we've gotten a number of cool answers. Um, because this business, we can meet people where they're at. Like you said, retired school teacher looking to make money to spoil the grandkids. You got people looking to make 30, 40, 50 grand a month. I'm curious though, I think that a lot of the people who have success end up having some of the same intangibles when they come in. Obviously, you coming in with a business owner mindset, not everybody's going to have that. But is there anything when you're hiring someone that you're not necessarily looking for, but when you see it, you're like, I think that person's going to do big things here?
Oh, my answer would be that's the first 2 years of me recruiting. So good luck with that. It's man, you couldn't pick them out of a lineup, right?
So
Like
true, man.
if you, so we're going to be a $6 million organization. You don't know if you've hired a Joe right now, Xander. If you had hired me, this is what it would have looked like. You would have hired me in 2017 in September. One of your downlines would have hired me. I would have told them yes. I would have signed up for the course. I would have done nothing for 6 months, or I did nothing for 6 months, right? So I took another job because I saw the opportunity here, but I came from a salaried position. At the end of the day, no matter all my businesses, I had a paycheck no matter what coming in, right? So it was like, let me at least go secure this. I had another job offer. I took that. I started my licensing. I probably got like two tabs in, and that's all I did. Luckily, Mark always dripped on me, right? Like he would randomly send me a text message, how you doing in the course? But imagine, would you have, what's the word I'm looking for Mark to hunt me down for 6 months?
It's crazy.
For 6 months, he would randomly text me, right? Are you still in this? Right? And I'd give him the BS answer you probably hear right now from your people in licensing. Like, yeah. I'm just finishing this right now. Just took my other job, or I'm working on a paycheck, and I'm going to get into it next week, or holidays are coming in, right? Like, would you have whatever Mark had in him to continue to text me and call me? Because he did, Symmetry was the first one on my mind. Right?
Mm.
So 6 months later, back at my other job, because I had taken another job and I was frustrated and I didn't like what I was doing there. And it was in fact, it was Valentine's weekend. And dude, I was like 70 hours in, and it was a Thursday. So imagine what I would have worked. And it wasn't what they promised me. It was horrible culture. And I was just done with it, right? I'm like, everyone wants to stab themselves in the back here. Like, it's crazy. Like, everyone's trying to fire each other. Like, this horrible culture. And so I handed them the keys. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm done. Literally walked out. I gave them the keys and said, I'm done. I'm going to go, right? And my head is like, I'm just going to go try this insurance thing again. Everyone's doing it. There's no reason why I can't. Right. And so got in my car. I was actually driving to Vegas, which is an hour and a half. So I took a job that was an hour and a half away. And
Dang.
so I drive back. I was on my drive back. I actually call my wife Sandra, right? And I'm like, hey, so I did a thing. Don't get upset, but I quit. I'm gonna go do this insurance things. Luckily, I'm blessed with an amazing woman. She is like, she knows what I'm willing to do. So she was like, well, let's do it. What's next,
Mm.
right? And so I came back, jumped into licensing. I got my license in 6 days, and never looked back. Right, started at
Mm.
beginning of April. But would you have given up on Joe 6 months later? Right. So because of that, that was my journey, Xander. I don't judge anything. There's nothing I look for. I look for, are you calling me because you're looking for something? because at the end of the day, look, they know, they've watched videos. They know what this is. We can try to lie to ourselves of why somebody doesn't come or why we did
Yeah.
an interview and we didn't like the results of the interview. But it's a big decision. They still to a certain point understand that this is fully commissioned. It's a crazy, right? You gotta be crazy to be in sales, first of all,
You gotta be a
right?
little crazy.
You gotta be a little crazy. Right. So, well, guess what? We're hiring crazy people. So like they're going to be a little off. They're going to be like, man, they had a weird attitude. Well, they better have an attitude to be able to put up with a whole bunch of no's. Right.
Yeah.
Or so the answer, Xander, right, is again, I don't pick anyone out of a lineup, right? Because you couldn't have picked me. Right. And there's so
Yeah.
many stories in our agency of, it took them a year to get started. It took them months to get started. Or even if they got started, you're like, and then all of a sudden, right, they're one of the largest organizations. And so, dude, I've stopped looking for me, right? Because that's usually what we do, right? We try to
Yeah.
look for ourselves. I'm great at this, or I do good at this. So I'm going to go look for more people, like-minded people. But here's the thing. Do we want an organization with all types of folks, or do we want an organization just us, right? Because just us ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna be that big, I promise. Right. So I've just learned to tell me what you want to get out of this, and I'll teach you how to do it.
Mm, that's so freaking good.
Shout out Mark.
Yeah, shout out Mark for not giving
Right.
up on you. Also, shout out to the guy who recruited you originally. I wonder what he's
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
today. They gone.
Yep.
Um, One thing about this business that I love, particularly with your story, is whenever we're recruiting, one of the perks of getting in the insurance world is you can kind of pick who you work with. You're not stuck working with people that you can't stand. And this business has allowed you to kind of bring your family together, which I think is super cool. You work with your brother, you work with your sister, you didn't always, and now you guys are in the same office together, which is really cool. I kind of want to hear how that transpired and the impact that that has had on your agency, because I can't imagine doing this with my brother day in and day out. We'd be dangerous if there was two of us. And so I want to hear what that's been like.
Man, it's just fun, dude. That's what it is. It's fun. Like um, me and my brother actually started in the restaurant business together. We worked at the same place, so we already had that going for us. And then right, life happens and we parted ways. Right. I wanted to chase something else in that same restaurant. It required me to move. And so I always missed that. Right. And what really happens again, right, in real life is we have siblings and everyone has to choose their career path. And right, really right after high school, we almost leave each other. Right. Like the joke in our little trio with my sisters, we didn't even know she didn't like ketchup. Right. Till she started working here and we got some French fries. She's like, no, 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 I don't do ketchup. I'm like, what do you mean? That's but it's just been, dude, it's been a blessing, right? Like it has brought us back together. Um, which normally doesn't happen. I mean, realize everyone, when do you go visit your family, right? Holidays, right? Like it's so rare. And to be able to work with everybody daily, it's just, dude, there couldn't be, I mean, right? I love to say it, it's funner now, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it couldn't be better for us. The fact that Symmetry is a leadership and self-development company first before we sell insurance has changed our lives, right? We just think different. We don't argue the way we used to, right? That's usually why you stop talking to siblings for a while.
Yeah. So
And
true.
the fact that all three of us are reading and we want to be better and want to be better kids, and so that has been cool. So
Mm,
I mean,
that's super cool.
I
right?
hopped into the workroom with you last Saturday, and there were like 10 people related to Joe in in the workroom.
Got the whole fam in the office,
Yeah,
man.
it's
But
just cool.
that was actually one of the seeing that, Joe, with James being on your with your whole family being involved was actually, I think that says more to people than you might realize, because you know, if somebody is actively choosing to, like, you're not going to get your family to go do something that you don't think makes sense. And so for me, brand new, not knowing anything about insurance, not knowing anything about sales, seeing you having your family come in, and there are other, like, Casey Watkins' brother, I'm pretty sure, came into Symmetry as
Yeah.
well. Like,
And his
seeing that,
sister.
exactly, seeing that people are bringing their families into a business is just such a big green flag, I think, as far as you're trying to grow a team. Um, Now, one thing you mentioned that I know that you guys do that isn't necessarily unique to like the entire insurance space, but maybe the Cook Group in particular is like every time we have a conference, you guys get a big like mansion together. I'm curious about what some of your favorite experiences, like some of the stuff you've been able to do with and for your team have been and what you see on the other side of that. Like we always talk about, the fire that gets lit underneath you after a conference. I would imagine all being together in a big house, having a good time only makes that even better.
Yeah, for me, it's dude, I just got a Netflix binge of Suits. I watched all 9 seasons in like 3 weeks. Don't do
Such
that,
a good show, by the way.
right? But it's the right. He says life is like this, and I live like this, right? And that's dude. There's nothing like that, right? Like, dude, being able to host a mansion and feed everybody, party, train, get to know each other, build a real relationship, right? Because it gets to a point where y'all trust and believe in each other enough to where you can tell each other whatever you need to be told, right? And you actually have to fight and argue, and I truly believe this. You have to every relationship, even in a mentorship and a mentee relationship, right, of trust, like there has to be an argument to where both of you question if we should part ways. And once you get there and you part ways, well, guess what? You found out you shouldn't work together. But once you get there and you both figure it out and decided that we're not parting ways no matter what, dude, the sky's the limit after that on a partnership. Right? Because both of you would not quit each other. And that is super important, right? That's something why when you bring family, that bond's done pretty quickly, right? Because the trust is there. But like for agents, right, cold market recruiting, dude, those houses, that's what they do for a lot of our agents, right? And so that's always my mission, right? Is we're gonna we're gonna we're gonna come in here, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna eat, we're gonna do a little bit of training, right? We might get a little tipsy and have an argument, but it's purposely done that way because once you start sharing your true sides of things and you have arguments again, right? That's where the bond is tested, right? And when you
Mm.
both figure out that you're both not going to quit on each other, right? Like again, imagine the level of trust at that point when the mentor and the mentee says, "Hey, this is what you got to do. You need to stop doing this." And I understand you don't see that right now, but you have to stop doing this. And the only way they are going to do it is because they trust that other person enough, right? And so
So
that's
true.
what that does. And then it just shows them, dude, my biggest thing is, dude, this is $1 trillion industry. We can make some insane amount of money, right? So to be able to rent some of these houses, right? I mean, for a lot of these folks, it's like, dude, it's where would they ever go? And somebody invite them, hey, let's go party at this house. We're gonna train. We're gonna eat really good. We're gonna cater to you, right? We're gonna show you what this thing can really do. Like, where can you go, right?
Yeah.
And so that for me, that's a passion of mine, right? In our industry is, I just want more folks to see what they could really do because it's great. Yeah. Dude, I haven't even like I'm a baby in this industry, right? Like,
We both are, bro. What's crazy is we're not even scratching the surface of what's
yeah.
possible yet. What you're talking about is like showing people what's possible, which is self credibility and the evidence that we can do this gives us the confidence to keep doing it. And when I was brand new, I needed that. I needed to see somebody winning who came from a worse place than I did and is in a way better place than I am in order for me to really commit. I was motivated by trips. I was motivated by the income earning potential. I was motivated by when I went to my first conference, everybody seemed happy. Everybody was stress free. People were hugging each other and laughing and having a good time. It wasn't what I thought an insurance conference was going to be like. So to give people a couple you're further on in the game than I am, and you've been able to do things that not many people get to experience. To give people some of those tangible, like, self-credibility things, I got a couple kind of rapid fire questions. First one is, of all the people on your team, not including you, what is your highest income earner making right now on an average monthly basis?
55, 60,000 a month.
Okay, that's pretty ridiculous. That's somebody on his team is bringing that in. Um, what's been the biggest deposit month you've personally ever had up until this point?
About 67,000 in a month.
That's crazy. And then we get to go on a lot of trips. We get to travel a lot. Carriers take us on trips. We go on trips with our organization. We can pay to go on crazy vacations because we make money. What's been one of the like coolest trips you've been able to go on or take your family on up until this point?
Uh, I mean, we're very family based, so we go down to Mexico a ton. My kids are spoiled, dude. I mean, our favorite thing to do is go rent a yacht and go into the ocean and take us somewhere where we can all jump off the boat and swim. Like
Yeah.
that's probably one of our favorite things to do. And then outside of that, man, is being able to afford a family barbecue every weekend because those are expensive.
Been seeing those. If you follow Joe on Facebook, this man and everybody in his family knows how to cook well, and they're eating good, man. 30 ribeyes on a grill at one point. It ain't cheap.
That's fun, man. That's fun
Yeah,
for us, right? So
that's
that's the cool thing, right? Like, dude, everybody can come in here and do whatever they like, and no one's holding you back, right? Like, you look at our commission schedule, right? And that's what I tell everyone I fell in love with because that right there promised no one had a thumb on me,
mm,
right? And we are our only limiting factor of what kind of income we can make here, right?
so
Like
true.
we did a producer panel and dude, there was agents on their own pin making 140 grand
In a
like
month.
that in a month, right? Like that's crazy, right? Like
It is
that's
crazy.
the possibilities are endless here. And more than anything, the way we earn it, right? Again, it's white collar money. I put a lot of hours into this, right? I don't sugarcoat anything, but dude, we get to do a lot of cool stuff.
Mhm. Mm,
Yeah, I mean
so good.
these insurance carriers, some of which have been around centuries. Actually, a lot of them have been around centuries. It almost seems like they have unlimited money at this point. Um, but yeah, that's another thing that I really liked about Symmetry is there's other companies out there. We won't throw shade at anybody where it's, hey, check out this Lamborghini that I drive, or this is the house I'm in or the watch or whatever. I don't while people at Symmetry can absolutely do that, one of my favorite things about the company is that's not like a focal point of what everybody's working towards. You hear a lot more of what can this do for your family? The stuff you're talking about. Hey, we like to go down to Mexico and rent a boat, which I don't know. It's funny, this conversation. I'm just thinking about all the things that have attracted me to Symmetry. And it's like not this kind of hustle culture, rented Lamborghini in Miami, not, a fake Rolex or five that, you're trying to look like you have more money than you do. Um, I guess one thing I'm curious about is you've talked about self-development a couple times now. Do you have like top 3 favorite books for someone who I think we're all immature leaders when we get here, but that really helped you transition from where you were to where you are now?
Hmm. I mean, you know what I'm redoing, and I don't realize how much I loved this book was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Same. Such a good
Such a
one.
good book. Um, that'll really help you kind of reanalyze what you think you know, right? The second one for sure would be Choose to Win. Um, it just really helps you figure out your why. I truly believe in we have not because we ask not. Right? Y'all heard me with strawberry milk. And but more than anything, right, it was just this is a I mean, if you got faith, man, you can go get whatever you want, right? If you truly believe that. And that book really ties all that in there. That's a great book for like a higher level of, hey, I need to self-develop. And then a third, I mean, the third for me at this point would be if you're in the insurance industry, I would really read that The Next Perfect Storm. right? Like really understand where we're at right now,
Yeah.
right? And that one's a short read, but man, it was such an eye opener for me. In fact, I thought I was all in, and when I read that book, it was like, how much more money can I pump into this? Because I need to go faster. And
Yeah.
I would say those three books for this industry, right? And for this, what it'll take to really build a large organization here, right? Because it takes a lot of, again, taking ourselves out of the equation and us becoming a system for someone,
Yeah.
right? And what I mean by that is we're just part of the process in their journey here. Right? We're not, they're all here, right? I'm
I
just,
love that.
just a stepping, right?
Yeah.
And
They're gonna do the work.
dude, I beg to find somebody better than me, right? Like I want more of them. There's a ton of people already in our organization that are way better than me. That's why the joke for me is right. I suck at selling and I suck at recruiting, right? I'm just blessed that we're in a company that lets me do it enough to win, no matter what. Right? So my thing is I'll just go out work most, right? Like I'll just go get the results that I want no matter what it takes. And
Mm,
luckily here there's not a limiting factor. Like, no, you can only onboard so many people, or you can only call so many leads. Right there, you can do whatever it takes for you to win. And I promise you will win here if you put your head down.
mm, mm. We should end this right there, man.
Yeah.
That's the best place to end off and leave the people with that. This company's changing lives. There's not one type. Anybody can do this. Not everybody will, but this is a good one. I'm gonna go back and re-listen to this one, Joe. This is getting me just recommitted, more fired up to stick with it, man. Thank you for paving a way. When we got here, bro, it was like we were hacking through the jungle with a fork, and now we're driving down a paved road, man, and we're going fast. But
Fun
it took
journey.
it. It has been a super fun journey, and it's only going to get more funner.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll leave you guys to it. Get out, go have an awesome week.